Hello students, welcome to YouTube channel Vidya for Success. Dear students, in this video let us study the concept of operating system. So what is operating system? So here I have considered a few examples: Microsoft Windows, Macintosh, that is Apple, followed by Linux, Ubuntu, Android, Windows Vista, Windows Server, Windows XP, similarly Red Hat Linux. So there are too many different types of operating systems available in the market. But what is an operating system? Yes, operating system is a system software. Nothing but a software which will be helping or aiding the computer. So is it necessary to have operating system for each and every device, for every computer? Yes, of course. But earlier this was not the scenario. During first generation and second generation computers, operating systems were not at all available. Nothing but they were not developed during those days. Nothing but all the input or else processing output, all these activities concerned with the working of the computer need to be guided by the user needs to tell, user needs to control the execution, each and everything needs to be controlled by the user. It was a very difficult, daunting task. So now we have introduced a newer software, or the later in the period of third generation of computers. This new software or else program is referred as operating system. So what is an operating system? So who is going to tell the computer after starting the or switching on the computer what needs to be done? So or else how to give the instruction to the computer to take a printout of a sheet of paper, or else to switch between different applications while working. So who is going to guide it, who is going to control it or to execute that? So we need one master software. So here operating system, or simply referred as OS, is a collection of programs. It's not one program, it is not one simple line of instruction, but it is collection of programs. Each program is dedicated to control, to work, or to execute a particular task. So what is operating system? You can say that operating system is nothing but a software. This is a master software which will be having sets of programs which will help to control, to act, and to interface between user and computer. So operating system is a very beautiful piece of software. Are we going to use operating system only within the computer? No, not at all. Operating systems are used in array of different types of gadgets and machines. Operating systems are used in computers, it is used in ordinary mobile phones. Nowadays operating systems are used to run Tesla cars. Operating systems are used in each and every gadgets, because we need one software via which we can control the overall system. That's why we need to consider the help or take the help of operating system. Okay, so operating system, it will help human to simplify the interaction happening within the computer. So if I want to give any instructions to the computer, that can be made easy with the help of operating system, or else the complete procedure is a very complex one. And we cannot imagine any computer or any gadget nowadays without operating system. So an operating system has become an integral part of the computer or all these electronic gadgets which are developed nowadays. And that's why what can be said about operating system? An operating system is a collection of programs that control overall operations of a computer. So operating system is not one program, it is an amalgamation, it is a collection of different types of programs which will be used to control the overall happening within a computer. So on the screen you can notice here I've considered a diagram which will help us to show how operating system works. Already I told you what is an operating system. It is a system software. Please can you notice here, operating system, it is a system software. So there are two types of software: system software, and the one is application software. System software will be helping, or it will be aiding the computer to perform its task. On the other hand, application softwares will be helping the users. So what is a task of this operating system. So operating system is a master software which acts as an intermediary, which acts as a bridge, which acts as a link between the user and the computer hardware. Computer will be having CPU, disk, mouse, printers, RAM, lot of other hardware components are there within the computer. So if you want to use this computer in a right way, then we have to give instruction to each and every components present within the computer. Is it possible to give each and every instruction to all the components present within the computer? No, individually we can't do that. So we need one software via which we can direct all the other different components available in the computer. So here operating system, it is acting as an intermediary between the user and the hardware. So user, he'll be present outside this complete application software. He will be borrowing help of any one of these application software. Let us say I want to browse the internet, or else I want to work with MS Word or spreadsheet, any of the thing, or MS Paint, something like that. So the user will be present outside this rim. He will be taking the help of this application software, and later the operating system will act as an interface between the user and the hardware. Okay, so that's why operating systems are very important. Via operating systems we can manage the resources. In case if there is any conflicts happening between the applications for competing for certain resources, that can be easily resolved using the operating system. And via operating system we try to optimize the performance of the overall system. So we cannot keep the system idle, because the processor, it works at a very fast rate. So that's why we need to optimize the usage of the processor. So generally part of the operating system resides in the primary memory, that is RAM. So usually, for example, Windows 10, it will be more than 1 GB. That complete operating system is more than 1 GB, 1 gigabyte. But always will not be using complete 1 GB of operating system. Yes, of course it is present, all 1 GB of instruction is present, more than 1 GB of instruction is present within the hard disk. But we will be using part of the operating system to run the complete computer. Whenever necessary, we will be borrowing it from the hard disk, that instructions which are necessary. Okay, so the generally part of the operating system resides in the memory and supervises the execution of the overall computer. And in case the user wants to communicate with the computer or with any other hardware gadgets, for example, user wants to send any of the instruction to the printer, and that will be taken care by the operating system. So there are different operating systems available in the market. To start with Unix, Linux, similarly Windows, the very popular one. We are now currently we are in Windows 10. Similarly, there is operating system by Macintosh operating system. Similarly, Android operating system. For servers, we'll be using Windows Server 2000 or Server 2003 will be using. So there are too many different types of operating systems. Each will cater to different types of gadgets. We cannot use a same operating system for all the other devices. For computers, we'll be using Windows, or else Apple operating system, Macintosh operating system. But for the mobiles, we will be using some other different varieties, because their working nature is completely different. That's the reason. Okay, but operating system, via operating system, we can control the activities happening within the computer. Now let us go through the functions of operating system. So as I told you, operating system is a collection of different programs. All these programs are once put together, they are referred as operating system. So an operating system performs different functions. So the first function is memory management, second is process management, device management, file management, protection and security, and the last one is user interface or command interpreter. These are the different functions. So for each particular function, the operating system part, a particular part will be used. Entire operating system will not be used or else deployed for this. A part of the programs will be used for each of these management. Now let us study what is memory management. What is a function of operating system in managing the memory? So first one, using operating system, we can allocate memory. Let us say I am writing a program using C++. So in order to write a program, I need to hold certain values. So how can that be done? I cannot dictate terms to the computer, but I can take the help of the operating system. Via operating system, I can allocate certain memories to my programs. Similarly, I can, if, for example, if I want to run a particular application, or else I want to run a song. So if I want to execute that particular piece of instruction, first of all, that instruction should be fetched from hard disk to the primary memory. Nothing but I need to allocate certain space for my program. So allocation of memory can be done with the help of operating system. Similarly, if let us say that I want to free the memory, why I need to free? Because the memory, primary memory, is very limited. Maybe 1 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB space. Okay, if in my program, let us take an example. If in my program, if I'm using too many different applications at once, at the background some of the applications are running, then it will be consuming too much of memory space. Then the system that mobile will perform at a slow pace. In case if I remove some of the applications, then it performs at a faster rate. There's nothing but I'll be freeing certain allocated memory. So that is referred as freeing the memory. Similarly, reallocation of memory. So for my certain programs or certain applications, I want to reallocate. I may need certain extra memory. So that can be done with the operating system. Similarly, keeping track of memory usage. So how much memory is used for a particular device. Let us say pen drive. Currently, what is the free space? How much has been used? So if I want to keep track of all these things happening within a memory device, then that can be with the operating system. The next one is process management. So what do you mean by process? Process are nothing but job. Okay, usually jobs are referred as process. Let us say I want to find sum of two numbers. So finding the sum of two numbers is one job. Followed by that, I want to divide two numbers. I want to multiply. So there are three jobs now. So adding two numbers is the first job. Multiplication of two numbers is the second job, and division of two numbers is the third job. So totally there are three jobs. So each job can be referred as process. Why they are referred as process? Because you cannot simply execute an instruction. The instruction need to be fetched. You need to send it to accumulator. There you need to know about the regarding the what is the next instruction that need to be fetched, where is the address of that. So too many things happen in the background, but we are not aware of all these things. Just we'll be executing, we'll be using the computer without knowing the background details. So lot of things go in. So that's why here one job is referred as process. There may be too many interesting things that may be involved, but we refer it as one process. So that's why here we refer it as process management. So the complete operating system will take care of the process management. So what are the different things happening within the process management? What are the activities that will be handled by the operating system? So the first one is control access to shared resources like file, memory, input, output, and CPU. So there is a limited number of resources, maybe RAM, maybe there are very limited number of input output devices that need to be shared, that need to be accessed in the most efficient manner. For example, let us say that there are 5 jobs competing for a CPU. So then I need to allocate time for my job in a optimum way. So that can be done. This particular process can be managed using operating system, not by any other software or hardware. Next one is a control execution of applications. So I want to execute a particular application. Let us say I want to play a particular song. I want to crop a particular image. So I may be borrowing help of certain applications. So the execution of these applications, nothing but each job will be taken care by the operating system. Similarly, create, executes, and delete a process. So if I want, I can start one new job, that is one process. I can execute it, or if I don't want, if I want to delete the entire process, that can also be done. So that will be done with the help of operating system. Similarly, cancels or resumes a process. So if I want to cancel a process which is executing, if I want to interrupt it in between, or else if I want to pause it and later I want to restart once again, that is resume it. So that is also possible with the help of operating system. So that we will be usually noticing via playing or video or songs. If sometimes we'll be pausing it, if you want you can resume it. So that can be done with the help of operating system. Next, schedule a process. So what do you mean by scheduler process? As I told you, operating system, CPU, central processing unit, it works at a tremendous speed. So this beautiful component cannot be kept idle. If you keep it idle, then it's of no use. So what we need to do, we need to give maximum work to this particular CPU. Let us say that we are having 5 jobs or 5 processes. Each job is of different taking it might take different time. Maybe the first job may be taking 5 minutes, second job may be taking 10 minutes, like that. It may be taking different time. But and along with that, each job may be of different priority. Maybe the first job which was taking only 5 minutes may not be that important. It you can execute it at later stage also, no problem. But the second job which was taking 10 minutes, we may be having highest priority. So then the CPU need to be scheduled. Nothing but jobs need to be scheduled. Which particular process need to be sent to for processing for in the beginning, followed by which particular process. Whether we have to follow first come first served, or is shortest job first, or is round robin technique. So here we need to consider the scheduling procedures. So that will also be done not by the user, that is solely done by the operating system. Next followed by synchronization. Synchronization is nothing but, let us say I want to communicate with my external device. Let us say I want to communicate with my mobile. I need to build a interlink between mobile and a laptop, or else with laptop with printer without using any wires. So then I need to synchronize these devices. So that will be done again with the operating system. Let us say I want to add my connect my headphone or else Bluetooth device to my computer. Nothing but I need to synchronize both of their frequencies. That will be done with the operating system. Similarly followed by that, communication, deadlock handling. What do you mean by deadlock handling? Let us say that two or multiple processes are working. Let us say at some point of time all of them are hanged, they are not responding. So then you need to resolve them. That is nothing but deadlock handling. So the deadlock handling of processes can also be done with the help of operating system. So this is the function of operating system in handling the process management. The next one is the device management. So what are the different devices attached to a computer? Too many devices can be attached to a computer. So these devices need to be managed. Sometimes let us say we want to use or we want to play a CD or DVD, then we need to open a CD reader. We later will need to close it. We need to sometimes write data onto the CDs. That can also be done. But how all these instructions are passed via the operating system? We are not having any control, direct control with the hardwares. Only via the operating system we can give commands to the these devices. Similarly followed by that, communication with the certain devices like maybe keyboard, printers, Wi-Fi devices. If you want to control the monitor, printers, all these things can be quite easily done with the help of operating system. The next task that can be carried out by an operating system is file management, the next function. So what do you mean by file management? What do you mean by file? First of all, file is nothing but collection of data which will be stored with one name, that is referred as file. So usually in Windows platform, these collections of data put together is referred as file. But when it comes to MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS operating system, these collection of data are kept in one particular area and they are referred as directories. They are referred as directories. But whatever, it may be a directory or it may be a file, all of them needs to be managed. So in order to manage these files, we have to perform certain tasks. So what are the different tasks that can be done on a file management by an operating system? So the first one is create and delete both files and directories. So if you want to create a new file, yes, Arams you can do it. But how? With the help of the operating system. So the same thing with deletion also. Similarly, provide access to a file. So if you want to look out for a particular file, that is nothing but searching. So if there are too many files within the computer, you are not aware where this particular file has been stored, just accessing a particular file is very easy. How? With the help of operating system, easily you can search it and you can know where is the location that particular file is stored. Next one is allocate space for a file. Yes, there is a storage area within the computer, hard disk. Yes, of course, but we want to store it at a particular place. We have to allocate space. How to allocate space? whether we have to store the file in a C drive or D, in which particular drive, in which particular folder we want to store it, everything can be dictated with the help of operating system. Next, keep backup of files. That's very important. Yes, we have stored the data in a file, but what is the guarantee that it will be stored intact without any damage caused? So always it is better to have a duplicate copy of it, that is can be referred as backup of files. So that is usually done with the help of operating system. So operating system will take care of backing up all the files. Next one is the securing files. So what do you mean by securing files? Nothing but my file need not have to be studied by someone else. He should not get access to my files. Also, how to secure it? By giving password or else by hiding it. So these all options can be done with the help of operating system. So these are all the different tasks in file management which will be very beautifully taken care by the operating system. Next one is protection and security. Yes, of course, the data stored in our computer is very important, very vital to us. So we do want to share it. So then how to give protection to our data and to security to our computer? Yes, by user authentication. What is that user authentication? As soon as you switch on the computer, so it will ask us to enter our password. Nothing but it is asking us to authenticate whether you are the right person to use the data stored in the computer. So by using username and password, we can authenticate it. Similarly, you can create multiple logins. Using that also, the same system can be used by multiple person, but without going through the files of other person. Okay, so that is can be done with multiple logins. Similarly, we can use file attributes like read and write. Let us say that I have created a particular question paper, but I want to hide it. I don't want someone else to see this. So then that is very beautifully can be done with the help of the option called as hide, whereby no one can go through this particular file without my password. Similarly, I can make sure that a particular file with a document is only readable. It may be very important. We want to make sure no one can make any changes here. So we can make it as only readable. So all these file attributes like write, read, all these things can be easily done with the help of operating system. Similarly, encryption, very beautiful one. Encryption is nothing but making sure our content is not seen by others while passing them from one computer to another computer over the internet or over the network. So we are encrypting, we are adding extra strings to it so that the complete overall data changes to some other form. So that is referred as encryption and decryption. Okay. So and similarly backup of data. So if you want to store the duplicate copy of the data, there may be a threat to our data. There is a chance that it may be deleted. So that's why we better to have a backup. So all these things comes under protection and security, which will be taken care by the operating system. Similarly, the very important last operation or task function of operating system is user interface and command interpreter. So what do you mean by user interface? Yes, of course, computer is nowadays it is very popular. How it is become popular? Because we find it easy to work with a computer. But earlier it was not the thing. Earlier, if you want to have a communication with the computer, everything was done via commands. So there are two types of interfaces. One is command interface, another one is graphical user interface, GUI and CUI. Okay, CUI is nothing but command user interface. GUI is graphical user interface. Earlier, the computers was developed or the operating system was developed on the platform of CUI, command user interface. For example, Windows 95 and earlier versions. If you want to open any application, you need to key in all the commands. Very complex procedure. You need to remember them. If you miss a single character, then you will not be able to open a particular file or access any file. They're very difficult task. So during those days, computers were not that popular. But now it's very easy to use a computer. There will be icons spread over the desktop. You can say double click it. You can open any of the file. You can access. You can navigate over the computer in a very easy fashion. So that's what user interface is. So who is going to provide this user interface? This user interface will be provided by the operating system, via which we will be interacting with the computer hardware. Okay, will be interacting with the computer. So because of which the life has become very easy. So user interface and command interpreter. So operating system provides an user interface between the computer user and the computer hardware. Okay, so there are two types of user interfaces. One is GUI, that is graphical user interface. Another one is command user interface. But now GUI is very popular one. So these are the different functions of operating system. Okay, so in this video we have studied what is operating system, what are the different functions of operating system. Thank you.